Gay.
Lesbian.
Bisexual.
Trans.
Questioning.
Ally.
My name is Antonia, and I identify as a masculine ascender lesbian. And I'm here to tell you that it gets better.
Hi, my name is Jarrett. I identify as a cisgender, asexual, aromantic male, and I'm here to tell you it gets better.
Hi, my name is Beth, and I identify as a trans woman, and I'm here to tell you that it gets better.
Hi, I'm Dalton Mortimer, and I'm bisexual. As far as my coming out story, it's only a minor one. I haven't come out publicly yet. I was sitting at home looking up stimulating things on the computer, and my mom and her friend came in, and I kind of had to come clean, obviously, at that point, and they were relatively okay with it. Even though it's still sort of a running joke in my house that I haven't been in a relationship yet, and there's this stupid notion that I have to be in a relationship before I can know. Happiest moment for me, being a member of the LGBT group, really came when I realized that the gay stereotype or the bisexual stereotype isn't all that's out there, and that people who I was actually attracted to could in fact be LGBT. Saddest moment for me was the moment that I realized that I was attracted to a lot of the more physical people in my high school, and being as the standard in my small town was that it wasn't okay to be LGBT, had the sort of upsetting realization that if I came up to anyone I found attractive, they'd probably punch my face in. As far as the greatest person in my life, as far as advice goes, it was definitely my aunt. She was a trailblazer in our family. She was the first person to come out. And she was always kind of a mentor for me, because whenever I'd get frustrated with just not being able to express myself, she'd be there and we'd talk. And she never really gave me any specific pieces of advice, but just having someone there can be good. As far as advice to other people who are LGBT, I have to say, don't get depressed if someone doesn't look openly gay or out. Don't judge a book by its cover. You never know, that person you find really attractive might actually be one of these days. Life gets a lot more complex and a lot more open than you think it will. I know, especially for me, growing up in a small town, that was a difficult realization. But yeah, people are much more cool with it than you see these hate mongers on TV talking about. And life does get a little bit more difficult, but it also gets better. Never forget that you're more than just the label, and stay strong in what you believe, whether it's anything that you believe in. And life will get better if you only acknowledge who you are and just live each day as the person you were meant to be.
My name is Sarah, and I identify as a lesbian. I came out to myself in the 6th or 7th grade, which was pretty early, especially for a small farm town. But I actually only came out to my parents about 7 months ago. And I'm a sophomore in college now, so that's a pretty big difference. I guess right now they're still trying to come to terms with it and to understand. I get the cliche, I love you, but I don't support you. So hopefully with some education and time they'll come around. The happiest memory I have was definitely taking my girlfriend to prom, which at the time was a secret, so that was kind of fun too. But it was really nice to both be in dresses and hair done up and corsages and everything girly, and still be able to go and dance together, even though there was kind of the circle of gay, as we called it, whenever we slow danced together. I mean, no one was overtly mean or anything like that. It was just a really perfect night. And the saddest memory I have was getting kicked out of a tent at the fair. I was sitting with my girlfriend at the time, and there weren't enough chairs, so she sat on my lap and whispered something in my ear, and I guess the guy there thought we were kissing, so he threw us out and proclaimed he didn't want any of that here, and there's no space for that and everything else. And that was a really low point because I felt like I couldn't defend myself, because the whole time I was just trying to hide from my parents, and I didn't want to cause a scene or anything like that. A lot of people have helped me and given me really great advice about coming out and being myself, and just telling me that I don't have to fit this label. This is a part of me, this is my identity, but it doesn't define me, I think was a really good piece of advice I got. And as far as advice I could give, I would say that just wait and be true to yourself. Sometimes people take time to come to terms with things, but just be patient and use education, because it's really a good tool in this situation. Never forget that you're not alone, and that other people are out there going through the same thing, and that they care about you so much. And just wait, because it gets better.
Hi, my name is Jarrett. I identify as a cisgender, asexual, aromantic male, and I'm here to tell you it gets better. When I came out, it was really hard for me. I was either a sophomore or junior in high school, I don't know. It was more of a process for me than an actual event. I can just boom, I'm asexual. I kind of let it slip and got more and more open about it as time went on. And it wasn't perceived as negative as sometimes a coming out process would be, but it was perceived as unusual, since about 1%, maybe less of the world identifies the way I do. I had to do a lot of explaining, telling people, what it means. A lot of the first reactions I got were, "You reproduce asexually? You mean like a cell?" The happiest memory I had in terms of my identity would have to be probably when I fully came to terms with, this is who I am. I am definitely asexual. Nothing is going to change that, and no matter who tries to change that, no matter who tries to pressure me into, buckling under the weight of society and going out there and, getting married, I just wasn't going to let it happen. I decided, okay, you know what, you can tell me what to do, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be who I am, and if you don't like it, too bad. The saddest memory I had was probably when I realized that I would not be able to biologically have children like most couples are. Most of the time with a heterosexual couple, they can just decide we want kids, we are going to have kids, nothing's going to change that except for certain medical issues. But for me, I had to get approval to adopt children. I had to walk into an adoption agency and they had to prove me, okay, you can have children. I don't have the right to make that decision on my own. I have to give that up to someone else. Some of the advice I would have liked to have been given would probably be, not be what, but who. I would have liked to have been able to meet somebody else who identified on the asexuality spectrum, maybe talk to them a little bit, see what it was like for them, see what I could expect, because to this day I do not know anybody else in person who identifies the way I do, and then I definitely didn't know. I was in high school, everybody was going to think it was weird. And I wish I could have just, had somebody there to tell me, you're not weird, you're not a mutant, this is who you are, it's just really rare. Things have gotten better for me since I came out in high school. I graduated and I was admitted to Wright State University's engineering program. I'm currently a sophomore and a member of my campus's Gay Straight Alliance. I've met so many awesome people there. It's a great support group, and like when I was coming out, I would always hear these, it gets better things, it gets better, and like, why isn't it getting better? And I realized you have to be patient. You have to wait for it to happen. And in conclusion, all I have left to offer you is these words. Never forget that you're you.
Hi, my name is Beth, and I identify as a trans woman, and I'm here to tell you that it gets better. When I first came out to myself, it was about a year ago. I was an RA here on campus, and I'd spent like the last 5 days like in my bed, completely depressed, didn't want to do anything, and finally I was just like, you know what, I can't live like this anymore, and I finally admitted it to myself. And the first thing I did was I went to the other RAs, and I asked for advice. What do I do? Where do I go? And they sent me to the local LGBT club, Rainbow Alliance, and I met a whole bunch of people who helped me like come out to my friends and classmates, and then I finally came out to my parents about a month ago. I think the happiest thing for me was going into the LGBT club and being referred to the trans support group here on campus called Tyga, and when I went in there, I met so many new people. It was absolutely amazing. I had never had a whole lot of friends before, and just getting to meet all these new people who accepted me and saw me for the way I wanted to be seen, it was indescribable. Just the most ecstatic thing I've ever experienced in my life, and now most of them are my best friends. The saddest thing that I've ever experienced was coming out to my parents. It initially went well, but over the course of the last month, they've kind of taken a few steps back, and they're not really accepting like at all. They don't even want to hear about it. But I have faith that they'll come around eventually, and that's all you can really do with that is just, be patient with them and hope that they'll come around. The best advice that I've been given is don't let the bad things get you down. I mean, there's always going to be bad things in life. People are going to, discriminate against you, or this is going to happen to you, or that's going to happen to you. But if you let it get to you, then they've won. And there's still a whole lot of good that comes out of it. Just being yourself. The sun's still going to rise, the sun's still going to set, and the sunset's going to look absolutely amazing no matter who you're experiencing it with. And how it got better for me, I have to say that it's not wearing the mask anymore. It's not like I ever did anything that I didn't like to do. But you're pretending to be this other person. How am I supposed to act here or there? And living up to other people's expectations of who you're supposed to be, and it's very wearing on you. You go to bed at night and you're completely worn out, and there's no reason you should be. The happy days aren't as happy, the sad days are more sad. But once you shed that mask, once you stop acting, it's like a whole new world. You're experiencing things completely differently, and people are accepting you for who you are, and it's almost like the color's been put back into the world. Just remember that you are not the labels that you identify with. You're not just gay or lesbian or trans or bi or anything like that. You are, the people that you love and the things that you do with your life. And, just keep that in mind. Don't let other people define you by labels, because that's not you.